And Bonds hits one high. It's a dig. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all sim all the time. Today's video, we are bringing you year 2, the offseason recap and going forward of our New Orleans Saints rebuild, or as I like to call it, the impossible rebuild, as this team is in cap hell, as they call it. A lot of contracts all coming together at one time, making this very challenging. But we're going to go through, and I decided not to stream the offseason because it is a longer process between free agency and the draft and just kind of getting everything, and it's just not a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion, in real time, because it does take a while if you do your due diligence and try to make the best decisions and you know, moves for your team. So I saved it all, edited down. We're going to bring it to you in a compressed video and go over everything we did in free agency, our draft, and how our roster is looking going into the second year, as well as how things are going to look for us in the future. So before we dive into all that, I want to just say thank you for clicking on this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to check out my Saints franchise rebuild video and see what we're doing in our second season. And also, if you are new, please subscribe to the channel and help me out by liking the video. Both mean a lot to me, and especially because if you like what you see here, everything that I make for Madden, gameplay sliders, franchise settings and sliders, the XP sliders, the draft class strength generator, it's all used in this. So if you like what you see, you like how things are looking, I provide content for all of that. So please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring it back to the off season real quick, and we're going to start with the option to obviously pick up Chris Olave's 5th year, which we definitely did. We were not going to mess around on that. We definitely accepted his option, and we did get another chance at Rashid Shaheed. Now, I tried signing him in the regular season, but he locked me out as I was negotiating. And looking back at it, it was because he had a 3-year expected $11 million per year. I was offering him 2 for $9. So not only was I shorter on the years, but I was, you know, $2 million a year less than what he wanted. And I felt like if I just bumped that up a little bit closer, we could get him. And that's what I ended up doing. Offered him 10.5 for 3, and he accepted it. So we did get Shaheed back after missing on Donovan Peoples-Jones and Kadarius Toney when we tried to extend them. Then going into the offseason free agency, we were looking at quarterback right away. We let Desmond Ridder hit the market just to see what was out there. And honestly, there's just not much out there, guys, for us in the quarterback options. So we went ahead and targeted a couple things that I always think is important. Offensive line is very important as well. And we did need a left guard. We lost our left guard in the due to free agency. We didn't bring him back. So we went and we made an offer to Isaiah Wynn. And looking through here, I didn't have a lot of cap space at all, guys. I had $12 million in cap space. I had to be very, you know, picky about who I went after. But Isaiah Simmons was a guy I saw, and I was like, we need that. We can do safety help. He can help play sub linebacker. Let's make an offer to Isaiah Simmons. And then because we no longer have Alvin Kamara, who is an elite back who can make a guy miss and do things that, you know, special things that a lot of backs can't, we're going with more younger Kendre Miller. I felt like it was important to get a fullback. We didn't really have a fullback on the roster, but we're going to run more out of I-form, strong, you know, it sets with a fullback leading the way to try to help our run game out a little bit. So Reggie Gilliam was a guy we wanted to offer as well. And luckily for us, we got all 3 of them. I did want to offer Jadeveon Clowney. I just didn't have the money. I would have loved to bring him in. But those are the only 3 guys we were able to target in free agency due to our cap. And we were lucky enough to get all 3 of them, which was fantastic. So heading into the NFL draft, our first round pick with the 20th overall pick, And going through, we looked, and we really needed help at strong safety. I know we just got Isaiah Simmons, but he's not a long-term option, especially with my plans that I have for him. And Courtney Booth looked like a really good player for us, and I kind of always do the draft the best player available mantra. I'm a Packers fan, so that's what they do, and that's what I tried to do. Is I tried to draft who I felt was the best player available, but also could help us out on our team, because Courtney Booth is a strong safety. He could move over to free safety, whatever. But we got an A+ pick on our first overall. He's a hidden dev trait. Great way to start the draft with our first round pick. Heading into round 2, we were looking through, and where are we needing things? Well, we just shipped off Marshawn Lattimore. We need some help at the cornerback position. Looking at the players that we had available, Morant looked to be a good option for us, so we went ahead, made the pick there. We got a B grade, which obviously isn't as same as before, but a hidden dev trait, and so I'm super stoked about that. I'll consider any player that comes in with a hidden dev trait an A grade, in my personal opinion. Round 3, I didn't have to spend a lot of time. I knew who exactly I was taking. Is Eric Spiegel. He was projected day 3, but had around 1 to 2 talent, and I didn't want to wait anymore. I was in the 3rd round. I was like, maybe I could have gotten him in the 4th round. I didn't want to wait. They gave us a B- draft grade because of his true value, and he's a normal dev trait, but he actually has really good ratings. Look at that: A awareness, A impact blocking, A lead block. I was like, I don't care. That's a good pick for us. So I took him, and we'll talk more about that when we do the draft recap. Heading into round 4, need to go after linebackers. See, I don't know what we're gonna do with Willie Gay, Pete Werner going forward. Obviously, Demario Davis is aging, and so just getting extra linebacker depth really gonna help us out. David McMillian had what looked like a pretty good scouting report and physical excuse me, for the 4th round. And he's young, he's only 21, and I just decided, we'll pull the trigger here. I liked a couple things he had. They gave us a bad pick grade. He gave us a D because of his true value. However, he's a hidden dev trait, and so again, that's one thing I look at too, is I don't care what they grade my draft. If I get a guy who's a hidden dev trait, I consider that a great pick. So anyway, we're heading on to the 5th round now, and this is where I knew I needed to go after some wide receivers. We lost some wide receivers, need some depth there, and I was looking, and I didn't really find a lot that I liked here, but this Josh Freeman stood out to me. Elite acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction, elite speed. He had these physicals that were off the charts, and I was like, for a 5th rounder, I mean, even if he just becomes a kicker, a punt returner, with those kind of stats, he's going to fit in somewhere. Gave us a C grade, normal dev trait, but look at that: 98 excel, 99 agility, 98 change of direction, 99 speed. We're going to find a way to implement this guy in our offense. You be damn sure about that. I was very happy with that pick for a 5th rounder. We had 2 5th rounders. He's our first one. I was very, very happy with that because he's got great physical attributes there. We lost Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams on the wrong side of 30, so getting a running back was a good idea to me. Now we're going to go Kendra Miller, but drafting one in the 5th round didn't seem like that much of a risk. We got a C- grade on Forrest Love. He's got a normal dev trait, but what stood out to me were his skills, which we'll talk about later, but he's got really good skills for trucking, break tackle, things like that. Heading into the 6th round, we drafted Sheldon Thompson, who hidden dev trait again. So we nailed another hidden dev trait. This one, our last pick of the draft, our 6th round pick. And when we look at our total draft class recap, I feel like I did a very good job in this. Our 1st round pick is, strong safety, 77 overall, hidden dev trait. 2nd round pick, corner, 76 overall, hidden dev trait. 3rd round pick, that guard I told you about. He's a normal dev trait, but he's a 74 overall. We can plug him in and play right away. McMillan, he's a 65, but he can sit there and learn. He's hidden dev trait. Freeman, 71 overall, great physical attributes. Love, 69 overall, great physical attributes. And Thompson, 64 overall, but hidden dev trait. So overall, top to bottom, I'm very, very happy with this draft class. I got 4 guys that I can plug in and play right away. Really 5, because Forrest Love's going to get some action in the running back position. So what does that mean for our team going forward? How does our team look now. So after we got through the preseason, we did our cuts, picked up players that might have gotten cut from other teams, filled out our roster. We're going to go through. I ended up trading Isaiah Wynn, who I signed in free agency because I needed a backup quarterback. We traded him in a future pick for Jameis Winston, who is going to back up Spencer Rattler. We brought Debo. We got him Dabo back home. I think that's his nickname, right? I don't know. Either way, we got Jameis Winston back home. Kendrick Miller and Forrest Love are going to carry our running back load, and we're going to see what they can do. They're both young, 23. We can kind of, if they work out, pair them together for a while. Reggie Gilliam is going to be there to help lead the way for those two running the football. And I think that's important that he's only on a 1-year deal. So we're going to see how those two progress. Maybe we can get to the point where we don't have to worry about having a fullback too much anymore. We can just have that spot free and put a tight end in there for those certain situations where we run from a power formation. Wide receiver, I feel a lot better about this than we did last year. We got Chris Olave, we got Rashid Shaheed, we got Freeman, our rookie, who we drafted, and then this guy Scott sitting down there. He was on a practice squad for the Steelers, and I went and grabbed him, Bruce Scott. I was like, hey, if you're on a practice squad, you're 73 overall, 21 years old, I'm snagging you. I'll sign you to my roster. And then we got Bubba Means as well. So we have a solid 5 right there. I'm pretty happy about that. Got some youth to develop, got some veterans to help them out there. Chris Olave is a budding superstar. So I'm feeling really strong about our wide receiver core. Tight end, we still got Juwan Johnson, and then Strange was sitting there too. Brenton Strange, he was on a practice squad. I went and signed him because, I mean, I'd rather play him over Foster Moreau at this point. See what he can develop. He's 4 years younger, almost the same overall. So get a little bit of tight end depth there too. Left tackle, we're looking pretty good. I did sign Cam Robinson. He was a cap casualty cut, so I was able to sign him for $4 million just on a 1-year deal. But he's a good player, and you cannot over value offensive linemen. So I have 2 really good left tackles. For depth, we're going to start Spiegel at the left guard position. And I'm carrying 8 offensive linemen. I got my 5 starters, I got 3 backups. But the thing that I really like about my team with my offensive line is I got really good backups. So in the center position, free agency wise, went ahead and there was another guy who got cut, I'm assuming for cap purposes. That's McGovern, Connor McGovern. I signed him to a 1-year deal. I put him on my roster. I had a little bit of room to make it work, and I was like, you cannot overvalue. You never know when you're going to have injuries to the offensive line. We still got Cesar Ruiz. Again, I'm not going to carry a backup left guard or right guard because, you know, our backup left tackle, our backup that McGovern, they can move around and play these positions. So you don't need to have a backup at every single one. Right tackle, of course, we got Ryan Ramczyk, and we got Penning as well. So we got a good backup there Trevor Penning, who can move around and play different positions if needed as well. So I'm very confident in my starting offensive line, and I'm very confident in my backup. So I do feel like I have a very, very strong offensive line. Defensive line, I think, is a strength for our team as well. We have Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan. This will be Cam Jordan's last year. One thing to know about Carl Granderson, Chase Young, and Brian Breesy is I was worried about how much they were going to jump in overall because of the seasons that they had, because of the sacks before we got that fixed. And the main thing that happened with those guys wasn't their overall went crazy. They got crazy dev traits. They jumped up to superstars and X Factors, and I just brought them back down. So I brought Chase Young from his X Factor down to superstar. I brought Carl Granderson and Brian Breesy down to star dev traits, so they got bumped up to superstar. Right end, we're sitting pretty good there. I signed Leonard Floyd to be more of a backup as well, and we got Brian Breesy at the defensive tackle. Now I am also putting Cam Johnson in defense tackle in our 4-3 situations as well. So we're going to have a really strong front 4. Left outside linebacker, we still have Willie Gay, 27-77 overall. Plays his role very, very well, but it's never a bad idea to start looking to the future. McMillan jumped up significantly. We drafted him as 65 overall. He's now a 69. I have no idea how. We didn't do any training with him or anything like that, but he jumped up, so that's pretty cool. This is the one, you know, I'm worried about going forward is Demario Davis. 88 overall. We're strong there, running a 4-3. What's the future going to hold there? We'll talk about that. I do have some ideas for middle linebacker going forward, but I'm very content with where we're sitting middle linebacker right now with Demario Davis holding it down. Right outside linebacker, Pete Werner again plays his position well, just like Willie Gay, but is it never too early to try to have some backup there, because as their contracts get creep to an end, they get older, what we need to do there. Corner, I feel very, very confident in our corner position. Paulson Adebo's locked down. I think he's got 3 years left on his contract. We got 2 guys in Cooley McKinstry and Quentin Morant, both 22 years old, both 78, 77 overall. Morant's got a hidden dev trait. I feel very, very strong in our cornerback group, and Greedy Williams is chilling there too at a 76 overall. I feel very confident in our cornerback group and our future of our secondary with those 2 young cornerbacks who are going to be the backbone of our secondary for the future. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, this is his final year of his contract. It'll be his final year with us, given he's on the wrong side of 30. I did move Jordan Howden from strong safety over to free safety. His overall actually went up a little bit. He's going to back up the Honey Badger. And then we got Isaiah Simmons, who I signed and I plan on extending, and Courtney Booth as well as our new rookie with a hidden dev trait. Courtney Booth will be the starter. Isaiah Simmons is going to be our float around guy. He's going to be backup strong safety in those packages. He's going to also be a sub linebacker in those packages. And I have the idea of potentially moving him back to linebacker when Demario Davis leaves our team and he takes over as linebacker for us. That's where he started his career, was at the linebacker position. So kicker and punter hasn't really changed from last year. That's the same, but overall I feel pretty confident in how our roster looks, with the exception of 2 positions. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what does this mean for the future of the New Orleans Saints in my rebuild? Well, going forward, things are going to start to get a little bit better, because we're going to start gaining some salary cap flexibility. And what's nice about that is we have some young guys who are under cap we don't have to worry about for a little bit. Now we will have to worry about Olave eventually. We got 2 years left on him before we have to worry about that. But looking at our major salary hits for 2025 and what's going to look for 2026, as you can see, we only have $3.5 million in cap space right now as it stands. But when you look at what's 2026 going to look like, well, Cam Jordan's $20 million a year is going to fall off, right? He's done. Cam Jordan. You scroll down a little bit, you can see Demario Davis, his 12.5 is going to fall off. That's $32.5 million. 2 players. Go down to Honey Badger, there's another 11. So we're up to $43 million in our 3 vets over 30 on the defensive side of the football. Now we're going to lose great players, but we're also going to gain $40-some million to replace them with. And you can look at all the other players that are important to our roster. They're extended through. We're not worrying about them next year. So we're going to have cap money available. And then you can go down a little bit more. Khalid Saunders, we don't care about that. That's another $4.5 million. Foster Moreau, don't care about that. That's another $4.5 million. Penning, I'm unsure. I might pick up his option. We might extend him. I'm not really sure. Jamal Williams, we don't care. I mean, when you look at some of the players we're going to lose, Cam Robinson might extend him. But when you look at those other players that might lose, we're going to have over $50 million. And we're not losing any starter. All 22, other than the 3 defensive players, but on any outside of anybody of those 3 that we knew we are losing, we're not losing anybody else. So we're going to have $50 million to try to reload on the defensive line for the loss of Cam Jordan, middle linebacker if we need to, depending on what we do with Isaiah Simmons, and free safety, because we know we're going to need free safety is going to be a need for us, depending on what we do with, depending on how our roster shapes up. But offensive line is locked down. A lot of our defensive line is locked down. Our wide receivers are locked down. Our running backs are locked down. So that means our biggest question marks are really going to be Spencer Rattler if he can make the leap, or we're going to have to try to find another quarterback in free agency because we don't have the time to sit and wait for a quarterback to develop, and running back, is running back being holded up. Those are our 2 question marks. It'll be exciting to see how it plays out. But guys, that is it for this video. That's the recap. I'm excited to dive into year 2. Let me know what you think of our team and how things look for you, for us going forward in the future. Otherwise, click on one of these videos and we'll see you in the next one, y'all.